Welcome back. We are diving into a subject that has, well, obsessed humanity perhaps since the first flickering of conscious thought.
I think that's fair to say.
It's this intense, often illogical quest for desire. It's a fascination that just never seems to dim.
Absolutely not.
Our stack of sources today spans everything from ancient texts etched on clay to modern pharmacological trials, and they make a really powerful assertion right up front
They do.
that the pursuit of foods that enhance desire, it existed even before fire was discovered.
And that, for us, is the key insight. Desire, it often produces a compelling story before it produces any measurable biology.
A story before biology, I like that.
We have amassed a truly global set of sources for you today, and our mission is, well, pretty simple. It's to provide a robust panorama of foods accepted as aphrodisiacs right across countries and cultures.
Navigating that razor-thin line between myth and documented medicine.
Exactly that line.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So we're taking you on a rapid global tour. We're going to be looking at the specific historical documents that actually enshrine these beliefs, so not just folklore.
Right.
And then we'll critically examine what, if anything, modern science actually confirms about all these global traditions.
So this journey offers you a shortcut to understanding something really fundamental. How profoundly culture, mythology, and history shape what we consume, especially when we're consuming with a specific hope in mind.
Yes.
To begin this exploration, I think we have to travel all the way back, right, to the earliest formalized beliefs in the ancient Mediterranean.
Precisely. If we examine ancient Greece and Rome, the foods believed to enhance desire, they often followed a really simple, almost primal principle.
Which was?
Shape, mythology, or just the immediate energetic effects. This is where early medicinal belief began to sort of intertwine with what you might call visual suggestion.
And nothing embodies that ancient libido quite like the oyster.
A classic example.
It's famous for raw consumption, that unmistakable, evocative shape, and even the early understanding that eating it gave you a specific boost.
Yeah.
We now know that's largely due to its high zinc content, which is, it's indeed linked to hormone production and libido.
But the belief wasn't just proto-science. There was also mythology baked right in. The fig, for instance, held this undeniable symbolism.
Oh, absolutely. The softness, the shape.
The numerous seeds. It was just a powerful marker of fertility and sexuality in classical cultures. You see it referenced by writers from Plato onwards.
And here's a detail from the sources that always sticks with me. Honey.
Ah, yes.
We use the word honeymoon so casually today, but it traditionally referred to a specific period where a newly married couple consumed these fermented honey drinks, what we would call mead.
Right, for a full month, full moon cycle.
For a full cycle after the
Wow.
marriage, yeah. The belief was that the sweetness and that sustained energy, it promoted fertility and happiness. It was a ritualized act of preparation.
It formalizes desire through consumption. And that formalization is maybe most powerful in the symbolism surrounding the pomegranate, or nar.
The myth of Persephone.
Directly tied to the myth of Persephone, who by consuming those seeds was inextricably tethered to the underworld. It became the ultimate symbol of cyclical fertility, of life, death, and return.
What's fascinating here is that we're not just talking about, old wives' tales.
No, not at all.
The antiquity and the formality of these beliefs are absolutely documented. These were recipes and concepts enshrined in the equivalent of today's scientific journals.
Foundational texts like the Hippocratic Corpus from the 5th century BCE, Pliny's comprehensive Naturalis Historia.
And Aristotle's Historia Animalium, it wasn't just folklore.
No, it was an established part of medical practice and their understanding of the cosmos. And when we move forward in history and across borders, we see desire codified in these really sophisticated medical systems.
Particularly across the Middle East and Anatolia. This region, spanning the great Arab, Persian, and later Ottoman empires, it approached desire as a medical issue.
A problem to be solved.
Yeah, one that could be managed within detailed medical treatises.
Take saffron, the world's most expensive spice. Its role here was so sophisticated. It was valued as a joy-inducing substance, a mood enhancer, if you will,
Okay.
but also specifically prized for its ability to enhance blood circulation. The logic was clear. Better blood flow meant better vitality everywhere.
And the high-energy foods were crucial. Dates, or herma, often eaten with sesame or tahini, they weren't just seen as snacks. They were potent symbols of raw energy, strength, endurance. fuel for the activity.
and a symbolic promise of fertility. And this leads us to one of the most compelling concepts in this tradition,
Ah,
the doctrine of signatures.
I love this idea.
The walnut, or ceviche, was often prescribed because of its physical appearance.
It looks like a brain.
The underlying theory was that a food's resemblance to a body part,
Yeah.
in this case, yeah, the brain or even the reproductive organs, suggested its medicinal use for that specific part.
That's a beautiful concept, but I have to ask, if the medical authorities were also operating based on codified science, how did a theory based purely on appearance hold up?
That's a key distinction. The doctrine of signatures was powerful in folk and popular medicine, for sure. But the formalized medical system, like the one codified by Avicenna or Ibn Sina,
a giant in the
a
field.
giant,
Yeah.
he filtered this knowledge. The authority behind these beliefs is immense. His Al-Qanon Fitab, the canon of medicine, it formalized so much of this, drawing on Greek, Roman, and Indian sources.
So he synthesized it.
He synthesized what was empirical with what was merely tradition. He didn't just accept everything based on shape. He established complex rules for diagnosis and treatment.
Okay, so if the Middle East focused heavily on codified medicine and physical strength, how did that focus shift when we look east, towards cultures prioritizing internal balance?
When we pivot to the Far East, specifically traditional Chinese medicine or TCM, the focus shifts dramatically. It moves from raw energy or circulation to the holistic concept of qi.
Pronounced qi.
Qi, right. Vital life energy. Enhancing desire isn't seen as, turning on a switch. It's a beneficial side effect of maximizing your overall wellness and longevity.
So it's a comprehensive approach, not just a targeted treatment.
Exactly. Ginseng is the classic example here. It's renowned specifically for boosting that essential life energy, increasing resilience, delaying aging.
The idea being, if your qi is maximized, your vitality, including sexual vitality, will just naturally be high.
And this holistic view explains the expense and the status of certain ingredients. Take the sea cucumber. It's often linked to male strength and endurance, but it's consumed as part of promoting overall vitality.
Right, or the goji berry.
The goji berry, associated directly with long life and supporting the jing, or essence, which is foundational to reproductive health.
The sources even point to items that achieve just tremendous social status, like bird's nest soup.
A palace aphrodisiac.
That phrase tells you everything, doesn't it? The intersection of perceived power and elite status, it wasn't just about what it did.
No, it was about the expense and the exclusivity. It emphasizes that expectation and ritual are powerful ingredients themselves. And this wisdom, it's drawn directly from the texts of TCM and earlier works like the Shenong Benkao Jing, dating way back to the 1st or 2nd century CE.
Traveling south, we encounter the complex traditions of Ayurveda in India, which also blend ancient medicine, spirituality, and consumption.
And here, the focus is heavily on balancing the nervous system and internal circulation using specific spices.
So, another shift in focus.
Exactly. Ayurveda views the body as a network of energies and emphasizes balancing the doshas. Spices like cardamom and nutmeg, they're valued not for brute force, but for their warming properties.
And for calming the nervous system.
Right, and facilitating blood flow without, overstimulation.
The sources detail this beautiful ceremonial aspect here, specific milk and spice mixtures.
Often prepared so meticulously for wedding nights.
It was a formal, ritualized preparation designed to calm anxieties, provide energy, and promote a gentle stimulation.
And we see contemporary relevance today with ingredients like ashwagandha.
It's everywhere now.
It's discussed globally, not just as a libido enhancer, but as an adaptogen, a substance that helps the body manage and balance stress. In Ayurveda, reducing stress is often the first step toward restoring natural desire.
And at the same time, back in the West, from medieval Europe through the Renaissance, the focus on desire shifted again. It went toward the sensational, the luxurious.
Heavily influenced by global trade and exploration. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Europe took these powerful ingredients, often revered or sacred elsewhere, and turned them into expensive status symbols.
Symbols of indulgence.
Pure indulgence. Think about the revolution of chocolate. It began as the sacred Aztec drink, cacao bitter and highly ritualized.
But when it arrived in the royal courts of Europe, it was immediately sweetened, mixed with spices, and became an elite delicacy associated purely with earthly pleasure.
With status and decadence, the entire dynamic of consumption shifted from the sacred to the indulgent.
And this idea of sensory appeal, that seems to drive the reputation of other ingredients too, like the truffle mushroom.
Oh, absolutely. The truffle grows underground. It's hard to find. It smells intensely musky and earthy. That powerful scent, which chemically resonates with certain mammalian hormones.
That drove its association with raw, untamed desire.
It was pure sensory suggestion.
Then you have ingredients based on, what, visual puns or minor effects like asparagus?
Right. It was believed to be effective both for its suggestive shape and for its diuretic properties, meaning its rapid physiological effect was just interpreted as strength.
And we cannot forget the most widely accepted social lubricant of all.
Wine.
Wine. Its lineage traces all the way back to the ecstatic Dionysus cult in the classical world, and it just continues to serve that core social function.
Enhancing relaxation, lowering inhibitions,
Yeah.
preparing the mind for pleasure.
So let's complete this global tour by looking at foods tied very strongly to localized nature and indigenous ritual, especially in the Americas and Africa.
Where the focus was often intensely on fertility.
In the Andes, the maca root from Peru really stands out. In Inca records, it was prized primarily for its strong links to fertility,
Specifically, increasing sperm count and volume.
which was crucial for sustaining communities at those high altitudes.
Absolutely.
And revisiting the source of chocolate cocoa, the original Maya and Aztec use was purely sacred.
And ritualistic. Often reserved for royalty, priests, warriors. It was power in a cup, long before it became a confection.
Then we find ingredients whose reputation is tied to an immediate, powerful physical reaction. The chili pepper is a great example.
Its belief system is tied directly to its heat. The capsaicin triggers endorphins and rapidly increases blood flow.
Creating a rush that mimics the physical excitement of desire.
It's a physiological trick in a way.
And in West Africa, the yam was often used in local fertility rituals. The fact that a core sustenance crop is integrated into these profound rituals, that highlights how deep the connection is.
The connection between life-giving food and the belief in reproductive power. And the documentation for these specific localized beliefs, it often comes to us via invaluable anthropological field studies.
Alongside the preservation of indigenous writings.
Exactly, providing crucial context for the ritual use of these powerful local crops.
So we have tracked this phenomenal global journey across millennia and continents. We have seen oysters, walnuts, truffles, maca root, all given this same honorific title. The ultimate question remains,
Yes.
after all that history, what does modern science actually have to say about this vast global tradition?
Well, modern science brings us back to Earth, but with a crucial nuance. Yes, certain components, the zinc from oysters, flavonoids from cocoa, capsaicin from chili,
Theobromine from chocolate.
theobromine, yes, they do create measurable physiological changes. But these changes are typically an indirect effect.
An indirect effect, meaning they boost circulation, provide an energy burst, manage stress.
Or enhance mood. They act as supportive elements. They don't switch on a hormonal drive the way we might expect a pharmaceutical to.
So they're not a switch.
They're not a switch. The science shows they enhance the conditions for desire, rather than directly creating the desire itself. If you're stressed, ashwagandha might help. If you're fatigued, dates and honey might provide energy. But they aren't the magic bullet the historical records dreamed of.
That brings us to what might be the most critical finding from contemporary research, and maybe the most powerful lesson in this whole deep dive.
I think so.
If the direct physiological effect is minimal, why do they persist so strongly in the cultural consciousness?
Because most foods accepted as aphrodisiacs work due to a profound psychological and cultural effect. The power of expectation, the ritual of preparation, the history, the context, the status.
All of that.
Those elements are often exponentially more potent than the biochemistry of the food itself.
In other words, when you prepare an expensive, storied meal, light some candles, and serve a food historically associated with passion, you've already completed the most effective part of the ritual before the first bite.
Yes.
The brain, not the stomach, is the essential organ for desire.
Absolutely. The conclusion is that the greatest aphrodisiac is the human mind. The entire global history we just explored is a testament to the immense power of belief and ritualized expectation.
We have journeyed through history, seeing how diverse cultures used myth, formalized medicine, and social status to shape their approach to desire. If you feel compelled to explore the texts we referenced today, we'd recommend foundational works like Avicenna's El Canun Fit Tub or Brillat Savarin's The Physiology of Taste.
And the anthropological field studies on indigenous medicine are fascinating.
They really are.
Indeed. The global history of aphrodisiacs shows that humans, unlike any other species, we formalize our own desires. We demonstrate that we even turn passion and longing into a complex, storied recipe.
Which raises an important question for you to consider as you reflect on this.
If desire produces story before biology, when does that powerful human belief finally become biochemistry? That's what we leave you with.